Hello there, everyone. Thornbreak here. I'm so excited that you can be here today for Wendy and Richard Pini's final appearance of the year. And we've got some tech issues happening over here. Sorry about that. So I am here with Wendy and Richard Pini. They are going to be on camera in just a minute, but this is their final appearance of ElfQuest's 45th anniversary year. And of course, it's their final live stream Streamily autograph session of the year as well. So hopefully you are here because you have picked up one of the incredible ElfQuest character standees. There's a standee of Cutter, one of Lita, and one of Skywise, which has already sold out. And if you're interested in getting those or any of the incredible, beautiful ElfQuest art prints featuring Wendy Pini's original artwork, you can get that by clicking on or going to the website on the bottom of your screen there. It's streamily.com/ElfQuest. Even though Skywise is sold out, we still have stock of the rest. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and grab them now. Wendy and Richard are going to be signing and autographing those on camera for you for the next hour plus. It might, we're not sure how long it's going to go, and they'll sign as many as they can on camera. If you want to guarantee that your item is signed on camera, you want to go with the VIP package, and then that will, again, bump you up to the top of the list. So without further ado, I'm going to roll out of here. I'll be helping out backstage. You'll probably hear my disembodied voice talking to Wendy and Richard, but I'm going to turn it over to them. So have fun, and again, don't forget to head to the Streamily shop and pick up your standees and your art prints.
Yay.
Oh, okay. Rolling on in.
Rolling on in.
Okay, how are we doing
You
here?
can get in a little bit closer, I think,
Okay.
Yeah,
to each other.
I gotta move keyboard and move
We're
mouse.
as close to each other as we can get.
All right. So why don't you guys, before I give you the first item to sign, tell us what is the big thing that's happening in the world of ElfQuest any day now.
Well, where is it? Have you got? Where is it?
Any day now? That's kind of vague.
Is that it right up there?
It depends.
That? Of course, we're talking about that.
I think what we're talking about is this here. And there's about a 5-second lag between when we do something on camera and when it shows up on the screen that we're watching. So if there's a little kind of crazy wiggle room, that's why.
Now you're hiding my face.
Now, see, I'm aware of that, and I'm moving it. I'm trying to.
I get to hide
hold
yours
it.
now.
You're going to hide my face? Well, that's not a bad thing. What you're seeing here is right now. Yeah, I think that's about right. Oh, this is crazy.
Okay, if you can move over just a tad, so I can.
You know what, Richard, I wouldn't look at yourself there because of the lag. I'll just let you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, this is the hardcover edition, the special hardcover edition of Stargazer's Hunt, published by Dark Horse Comics, partly in celebration of ElfQuest's 45th anniversary year, and partly in celebration of 10 years with Dark Horse.
Yes.
I mean, we've been with Dark Horse. ElfQuest has been with Dark Horse for since 2013. And it's a lovely, lovely book. As you can see, it's a different kind of hardcover in that the artwork is printed rather than a dust jacket. We're very, very happy about this because even though we like dust jackets, we have learned that if you pick it up and put it down and put it on the shelf and take it off the shelf, the dust jacket can get a little raggedy. This is solid as a rock, and it has the entirety of the Stargazer's Hunt story, and it also has a bunch of new stuff at the back that is new to this volume.
You want to hold it up like between your faces.
Okay.
Hold it between our faces.
Yeah.
You mean sort of like this?
There you go. Yep, that's perfect. You're right in
Okay,
perfectly framed.
it's off camera, I think.
Well, no,
it's not.
see-
You guys, don't. That's not live. So
Okay.
Don't look at that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
Yeah.
yes, there are a bunch of pages in the back of new behind the scenes material, some new essays.
I think the behind the scenes material is some of my most favorite stuff because it's a really deep look into the process of making the story and things that happened with the characters, new characters that were created. Behind the scenes stuff that you didn't get a look at in the original publications.
Right. And this is going to appear in bookstores on, is it November 21st or
Yeah, 21st in bookstores, 22nd in comic shops.
21st in bookstores like Barnes and Noble, and 22nd in comic shops.
Mhm.
So if you have a favorite comic shop or a bookstore, and go to them and say, we want this book, make sure they order it, because there's still about a week out, a little less than a week.
Well, I'm thrilled it's coming out around Thanksgiving time. I just think there's a lot of reasons for us to be thankful, and this is a big one.
This is a big one indeed. So there you are.
So,
All right.
are ready to start signing?
Ready as we can be.
Yes. All right. So here we go.
Do you just want the bases?
We just want the bases.
Well, you kind of don't. You want to show the character too?
Yes.
Yeah.
This first batch is for Michael McAdam. We know who you are.
Michael was your co-host on some of the ElfQuest podcasts, wasn't he, David?
Indeed.
These are the Cutter and the Skywise standee, just for those of you who have not yet seen the real thing. They are.
Look how big they are.
They are wonderfully produced. There's Wendy's beautiful artwork, sandwiched in absolutely crystal clear acrylic. So there's not really a front and a back. You can look at the artwork from both sides, and it's protected. And how this works is at the bottom of each figure, there's a little tab, and then there's a base, and you simply place the tab into the little slot, which
any child can do.
Well, then we should get a child in here. There is an orientation. There's a top and a bottom.
Well, that's good to know.
And so everybody knows we've had a lot of requests to please sign on the base, which is what we would do anyway, because it just doesn't seem right to mark up the artwork
Absolutely.
with a signature. So all the signatures will be on this clear base, and you'll be able to see it when it's standing up and read it. So anyway, we can put the figures aside, and we're going to start with Michael. And what we need here is something a little bit easier to see than the mouse pad.
Mm-hmm.
So
Rady says that the standees are elf-witched between acrylic.
elf-riched. Okay, then.
I think that's a very good way to describe it.
And we will hold these up because the way the camera is, you can't see us actually signing, but you want proof. I know you do.
Michael, I put a little heart after my name because you know what that's for.
Okay. And here, if you can see, how is this going to show up on camera?
You might have to hold a piece of paper behind it or something.
Let's see. If I put my hand behind it like this, does that work?
Maybe hold it closer to the camera.
Okay.
There you go. That's perfect. That looks great.
Oh,
Okay. All right. There you go. Yes, we got a little time lag there, but you can see what it looks like. So now we're going to take these and we're going to hand them back to our whiz-bang helper.
well, you having the bigger hand, you can.
All right, next.
Yes, nobody will accuse me of having little hands. What have we? And I need to. There. This is Lita and Skywise. We got a lot of requests for that because they are the new figures. We did Cutter last time. And this is for Heather. Here we go. Heather. Okay.
Okay. There we are, Heather.
Yes. Let's see if I do this, that shows it even better. And I'll just put it right on up there real close. And we'll do this for everybody so you can see that we have taken care of you. Okay.
There we are.
All righty. 2 down.
All right, so
70 to go.
You can put them right on there.
All right.
70?
There's 72, 73 orders, I think.
Yeah.
And those are multiples. So, yeah, we're going to be here a little bit. What's next? Mark that complete. Okay, this is somebody wanting all 3.
Yep. So you got the first one there. We probably should have taken these out of the plastic. So that one's going to slow us just a little bit, but live and learn.
Okay. Now this is for
This one wants more than I think we have room to write.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. There's room for names.
Yeah.
But not messages, and that's just sorry about that. We could try doing it so small that you couldn't possibly read it, but
I think you should just stick to the name.
We are sticking with the name.
Well, Pia, I'm going to put a heart. And the heart means that you you can imagine that we wrote all that.
So
there you are.
Richard Patterson, I put his question on screen. The question is, any chance of new ElfQuest stories in 2024?
When you ask the question in the form of, is there a chance? The answer is always yes. Now, what that chance is subject to interpretation. We know that there are more ElfQuest stories to be told, and we are in conversation, shall we say, with our publisher, Dark Horse Comics. And as soon as we have some news about where those conversations lead, you will be certain to hear that. One way to ensure that you find out sooner than anybody else in the world is to go to elfquest.com, and on the home page, click the join the newsletter, join the Holt. We've got something over 5,000 subscribers now. We'd love to see there be 10,000 or 20,000. Whenever we have news, you get it first. It eventually shows up on social media like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I refuse to call it X. And
Can I talk now?
when I finish, and you'll get all the good stuff before anybody else. Now.
Well, just so you can have something here that you wouldn't hear anywhere else. This is why you have to get Stargazer's Hunt, because I'm going to send you guys on a little quest. Read Stargazer's Hunt very carefully, because there are some hints in there as to what possible stories may be coming up.
Oh, ho.
Oh, ho, ho, you knew.
I may have known, but you continually surprise, because I'm still finding out stuff that you hid 20 years ago.
Yes, this is true.
Yes, sneaky. Okay, so we have now our favorite recurring person to sign to, Nonami.
Nonami.
Which means no name.
Well, I would hardly say it's our favorite person, but...
No, it's recurring.
Richard, why don't you hold up the Lita standee again? And Wendy, I'd love to hear from you about that particular piece of art, because I think it's one of the most gorgeous manifestations of ElfQuest anywhere. It looks so good on that standee. So I just was curious about what you had to say about it.
Well, thank you, David. That's one of my favorite costume designs for her. And I really hope that some cosplayers out there pick up on this one. It's got such a lovely sort of angled flow to it. And I just think it's one of her sexier costumes. So
it's full of lines of beauty.
It's full of lines of beauty, and the colors, of course, the printing, the quality of the printing in this is fabulous, and so the colors are gorgeous.
Yes, I have to say that the production quality is second to none on these. We're very pleased with how Streamily has done that. All right, so here goes those. And we mark that complete. And we have
Mari.
All three. All right. So let's get the bases.
Mari says, if mine don't get signed on stream, that's fine. But guess what, Mari?
You're right. Here.
We do them in order.
Okay. I just want to make sure that these are the way they need to be.
Oh, that's interesting. You double check to make sure it all fits, right?
Well, yeah.
That's what I call being detail oriented.
Yeah, there's another word for that, but we won't say that. Okay. All three for Mari.
There you go, Mari. Yours did get signed on Streamily.
Now, if we find out that Mari's not watching, Okay.
Okay, there's this one and this one.
All righty.
Okay, there.
Okay, Mari, all three. Now,
Are you guys holding them up to the camera when you sign them?
Well, we held up
figure if we
one.
held up one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Just so that
definitely.
people can see
Yes,
their name.
no. Everybody's going to see at least one.
But then you should hold up the complete package, the complete pile.
Oh, heavens. Okay, this is for Derek. And
Show them on camera what you're doing.
I'm just making sure. See, this is the last step of quality control. We have the base and we have the figure. And I'm just making sure that we get a nice, easy fit.
Because we don't want you guys to have to struggle with it.
So I have a comment that I just put on the screen, and it says, it's from Rowan Gray, who says, I've been really enjoying Stargazer's Hunt and have been reading the archives and other materials. Thank you for making them available online.
Oh,
Well, thank you for noticing. Thank you for indulging, and thank you for saying that. Because putting as much of ElfQuest as we could online was one of the
for Derek?
most fun and sensible things I think we ever did. Simply because we just want more and more people to read it. And if you know anybody who you think would like ElfQuest and they don't know what it is, and you want them to try it out at no cost, you just send them to elfquest.com and you click the read online button, and they're going to have 30 or 35 years of material that they can read online for free. So they can see what ElfQuest is about and see if they like it. And
As we've mentioned before, when we make appearances at conventions, so many people come to us and say, I've read all your books. And then it turns out they've only read the first 4. So we tell them that they can read a whole bunch more of the story online, and they get so excited. They said, I had no idea.
well, you know, when a comic series has gone for as long as ElfQuest has, we do understand that you know, people read something, they enjoy it, life goes on, they find other things to enjoy. And they don't necessarily know that we've kept going for almost 50 years. So we've put most of that stuff online for anybody to check out for free on elfquest.com. So we have a Skywise now for Sam. And here's Sam.
But for the people who want to hold a book in their hands, what do?
Well, we send them to the simplest answer to that question is to go to darkhorse.com.
Here you go, Sam.
And the complete ElfQuest collection of books is available from Dark Horse Comics, which reprints the core canonical story of Cutter and the Wolf Rider tribe from the very beginning right on through the very most recent volume, which collects Final Quest. We are in the process right now. There are 7 volumes in the complete ElfQuest series, and we're in the process right now of putting together volume 8, because ElfQuest extends into the future of the world of Two Moons. And I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but volume 8 is going to look at those stories that happen after the events of Final Quest.
Yes.
So now we have Joshua, which is
So hang on one second. We had a numbering thing that I had to correct here. So
That always happens.
bear with me.
Uh-oh.
It happens.
It happens.
So you can get started with Skywise, and let me just unpack Lita here.
Okay, Joshua is getting a Skywise and a Rita. So for Joshua, and again, if any of you out there in live stream land have questions or comments that you would like to throw at us while you've got us captive, please do. Because otherwise, the only sound you're going to hear is the squeak of Sharpie on acrylic.
Here you go, Joshua.
Okay. So now we get deadly silence.
Hang on, because there's comments coming in here. So let's see. Lots of comments. Would you ever consider ElfQuest hitting novel form? The stories are so rich and ripe for literature.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sure both of you could have some comments on
You
that.
guys are about 40 years too late on that question.
All right, this is Joshua. This is one of them. There are, in fact, 3 ElfQuest novelizations, and those go all the way back to the 1980s. They are text novelization, prose novelizations of the original quest, and they each novel roughly corresponds to 5 of the original comics. The first 5, Journey to Sorrow's End, the second 5, which is The Quest Begins, and then the third 5, Captives of Blue Mountain.
Mhm.
We're in the process right now of digitizing those. The first novel is available if you go on Amazon.com and look under their Kindle store and search on ElfQuest. You can get Journey to Sorrow's End in a brand new edition. You can either have it for your e-reader, or you can get a print copy printed out that you can hold in your hands and read. And we're working on the others as well in our non-existent spare time.
Yes. Everything will get itself done. It's just a matter of a doing of it all.
Okay, now for the first time we have some
Yay,
prints.
prints!
So these are for Julie. And now you're going to see some different beautiful Wendy art. And
Okay, so
Sorry.
Wendy, here's a question that Oliver III asks. Is Two Edge a Gemini? I thought you, being, more astrologically minded or well-versed, might have some thoughts on that.
Well, that would seem to be the yin yang of it.
There used to be, Julie, you can see the artwork now.
And here's this lovely one, Julie. I like your choices. Is Two-Edged Gemini. Oh, gosh.
There used to be a pizza shop nearby, and the owner was an ElfQuest fan and wanted to know if there was if they could offer an ElfQuest themed pizza. So we came up with the Two-Edge, which was half just vegetarian and half meat only. And
I think that kind of sums up his personality.
yeah. And it's not there anymore, but we still have a copy of the menu with the Two-Edge pizza as an offering. Okay.
Aha.
What have we? We have a cutter. Cutter for Liv.
He sure is a cutie.
Cutty.
Wendy, talk about Cutter's character design from when he was young, as he's featured in the standee, to the mature Cutter.
Well, the one thing you will notice, the biggest difference is his legs. In his younger years, and of course this is enhanced by the bell bottoms, his legs they appear to be rather short and stocky. But as he got older, he got a bit leaner, he got a bit longer in the limb. And so as he evolves through the story, you'll see that his legs become more slender and muscular. But in his earliest years, he was a little bit stocky.
If you again go online to elfquest.com and look at some of the background stuff that we've got on there, because there's a lot of stuff on the website that a lot of people just have never seen before, don't know about.
It's true.
But we've got some historical drawings, and the earliest drawings of the Wolf Riders are actually quite a bit squattier.
I know. I used to like to describe Nightfall as a bedside table with the top drawer pulled out.
So you can see how the style has evolved over the years. Okay.
I'm gonna hand these to you, Richard.
Well, that was the whole Tezuka influence, you know. I think Tezuka's early work on Astro Boy is sometimes referred to as Bigfoot. You'll appreciate that, David. Bigfoot work.
We have a Skywise and a Lita for Tina.
There you go, Tina.
Okay, there's one. There's two. Now you can see the whole thing on her base. Sorry for the glare. As any of you who do podcasting or video podcasting know, the best source of light is a ring light. But in a case where you're trying to show something that is as shiny as these things are, and that just adds to their beauty when you look at them. But when you're trying to show them on camera, wow, if you don't get it just right.
I think you've been doing a good job.
I hope so.
Yeah, I had that challenge on the teaser last night.
I noticed you handled it very well.
Thank you.
All right, we have a Skywise now here for Krissa.
Rowan Gray says it's been really neat seeing the contrast and the styles over the decades change in your work. The earliest works feel very influenced by the era they were created in, for certain.
That is so true.
Well, you like to say that, the original Wolf Riders are essentially, bell-bottom hippies. And
And then in the 80s, they became a punk rock hair band.
big hair. And they do have, some of them, big hair, but that has been a curse, hasn't it?
Yes, yes. The hair is what takes the longest, especially on the curly-haired elves like Lita.
Just get started on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I got all three. Just set them back.
All right. Yeah. In fact, you have said famously that if you had it over again to design them, they'd be naked and bald.
That's right.
And then you wouldn't have so many curls to have to draw every single panel. We have all three for Dawn.
But we'd be sad because we love looking at all that gorgeous, beautiful, big hair.
I
Wendy,
know
so.
the hair is part of what makes them sexy, and we never scrimp on what makes the elves sexy.
Well, also, if you didn't have these great costumes, you wouldn't have the amazing cosplay.
Hey, Dawn, here you are.
That people have done over the years, because you design what they wear very well.
Well, yeah, as a costumer myself, I know what's wearable, and when I design a costume, I always give a lot of thought to what materials would be used and how it would be put together, and this is why I think ElfQuest costumes for ElfQuest cosplayers are fairly easy to put together.
Well, they're easy to put together, but you also provide so much constructional detail, if that's a phrase, that people can look at it and essentially use your drawings as the pattern.
Well, that's kind of what I meant. It's pretty easy to deconstruct an ElfQuest costume and manifest it in real life, which we both love. We love to see cosplayers.
Here is Dawn, one of yours. Okay, that's those three.
Oh, it looks like we've got some prints coming up.
We have a Watching the Sunrise print for TJ.
This is a very hot print in more ways than one.
So for TJ.
Actually, use the sun, babe.
No, I like the sun.
Don't sun. Next time, you can't see your signature.
Oh, I can see it just fine.
Oh,
And
well,
I'll hold it up.
I'm using the sun.
All right. Well,
Now
we have different philosophies.
Now you guys write in and scold Richard because he's not.
You write in and scold me, and I'm going to take your names off the list. So, okay, here is.
See, now doesn't that look better than that?
See, you can see my name just fine over there, and no. TJ, you get to see the process. You get to see what goes on here every single day.
So here's an interesting comment.
All right.
Charles Grew says, as a member of the polyamorous community, I love how the concepts of ethical non-monogamy have been shown in ElfQuest more and more over the years.
Oh, yes.
There's not a question there.
No, it's just a comment. Just
Oh,
an
yeah.
observation.
And we appreciate that comment. Well, part of it is because it only makes sense. These creatures, these elves, are not human, and they are essentially immortal. Even the wolf riders live thousands of years. So in a society like that, the taboos, the rules, the regulations that we limited humans put on ourselves, they don't think in limited terms like that.
No, because one of the things that we like to do in ElfQuest, in the storytelling, in the conception of it, and this is for Diana, the moonshade,
A very beautiful moonshade.
is to get readers to stretch their minds around concepts that are not necessarily easy to digest. And one of those is, we're so, we live for however many decades we get to, but we're so aware of time. We're so aware that we need to get as much done as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew you were going to live 1,000 years, would you be as concerned about, I didn't get the number of likes on my last post that I was hoping for, or I need to do this by 4 o'clock. I don't think you would. And the same kind of bleeds over into relationships. There's not the need to be concerned, does he or she or they like me as much as I think I like them? You have the time to go with it.
And you add on top of it that they are a telepathic race.
Yes.
That they can't lie to each other. They can't cheat on each other because, part of their bonding is to be able to know each other's thoughts. That's another limitation that we humans have that the elves don't. So what would be labeled as polyamory in human terms is simply a very natural way to live for them.
Because we need labels.
Yes, we need labels. They don't.
I'm having trouble getting this one open, so just bear with me.
Yeah.
Take your time.
This tape is extra.
Yeah, some of them are real easy, and some of them are a pain in the tush. We have a Lita and a Skywise again for Liv.
Now, do you guys recall signing a cutter for Liv already?
Yes.
Okay, because it's showing up in the queue here again, and I have it over here labeled waiting. So,
there is a cutter that's grayed out underneath Liv's name. So apparently,
no, that's next up in the queue.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she wants to. I don't.
Well, that's a possibility, because the number that I have queued up here is the one that's showing on the screen is not signed. So,
well, if she's out there in the audience, let us know, Liv.
Well, now I remember signing something.
Right, it might have been Prince
for Liv.
Ah.
What it was now, I mean, it was minutes ago, and my memory isn't worth crew. We'll figure it out. It wouldn't be a live stream signing if there weren't some confusion. We have our reputations. There's Liv on a base.
And another one.
So this is Liv and let live.
Oh. I wonder if she's ever heard that before.
All right, so let's go ahead and sign this cutter for Liv for order number 440 as well.
Okay.
And if it's a duplicate, we'll sort it.
If it's a duplicate, we'll send it to Ms. Tyler. And,
Liv Tyler. Well, there are ways to wipe off.
Nail polish
marker.
remover will take this stuff right off.
Nail polish remover will take it off.
Especially on the acrylic.
which is simply to say to all of you out there that we've had 45 years worth of experience in correcting glitches such that you never know they happened. And that's the way we like it.
And in other words, covering our behinds.
So
Our
Vanessa
assets.
Blumenberg says, I will say that making cosplays of ElfQuest characters is a fun challenge. I've learned a few new crafting techniques doing so in the process of creating them. I do hope we will see more cosplayers at cons next year. All right,
Well, but she has sent us pictures, right? I hope.
Yes, Vanessa has posted a lot of pictures. We actually saw Vanessa at Baltimore.
Oh, yes.
As Young.
Oh, yes.
Future Quest Young.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yes.
All right.
We very much love to see people doing ElfQuest cosplay, and whether or not we can get to a convention where you do cosplay, or even if you don't go to, we love to see photos. We over the years we've seen many people go out into the woods.
Yes.
They just pose beautifully in natural settings.
Mm-hmm.
We never, ever, ever will get tired of that. So
Well, that's the
let
wonderful
that be a challenge.
wonderful thing about the internet is that you can post photos and videos of yourselves in the costumes. And that way, even if we weren't there in person, we get to see you and send you a little love for it.
Absolutely.
All right, so we are through the VIPs. So we're going to work to get through as many of these until you guys fatigue as we can, the rest of them. Because there's a lot. There's a lot left.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, look,
I think maybe we want to pick up the pace a little.
Well, then this is for no name, Alita Skywise.
All right, there we go.
Okay, there's those.
Kathy Lynch says that she just loves hearing you guys banter.
Well, that's something that is absolutely guaranteed at one of these signings. We just act like our normal selves, don't we?
All right, so that's one of three that's coming your way.
Right, we have a trio for Margaret. These bases are just the right size for a name and a couple of signatures.
That's right. And it's taking the ink very well.
Yes, the Sharpie gods are with us. Okay, you. Margaret.
Okay, so Liv did pop up and say that no mistake, she accidentally ordered 2 cutters, but she's happy about it. So,
well, she's got a Christmas present for someone.
Well, that's what she said. I now have the perfect Christmas present.
Yeah,
awesome
for somebody named Liv. Okay, you've done that.
Well, she now knows the nail polish trick, and she can fill in the right name. See that, Liv?
There you go.
There you go. There is an answer for everything. So here's the last one for Margaret.
It's tempting to be constantly looking down here. So I'm reminding myself to look up and make sure I'm looking at you guys.
Okay. Here's these.
All right. Margaret it is.
So I have a comment from Charles Grew, who has been very vociferous in the chat, who says that he might have to leave before he comes up, but he's loving this while he can. You are both awesome.
Thank you, Charles. You're awesome too.
And you will get no argument from us. This is the no name cutter. So there's that.
Okay, there you are.
And then we have another cutter.
So it's good. I'm a little backed up here. So why don't you guys share something on camera that is on your mind?
Share something on our minds. We have so much on our minds because there is so much going on behind the scenes with us that we can't really talk about now.
Yeah, but here's something we can.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you have already subscribed to that newsletter I was talking about. In case you didn't, or in case you did and you haven't responded yet, the most recent newsletter had a challenge.
Yes.
And that challenge was basically me asking you, what do you like most about the ElfQuest reading experience, whether it was comics or big, thick books or smaller books or black and white and color? And what do you think, how would you want to get somebody new hooked on ElfQuest who didn't know what it was? What would you like to show them? Would you show them a collection of comics? Would you show them a big, thick, complete ElfQuest volume? Would you like to show them, the whole 40 years? Would you just like to get them started on the original quest? And already a whole lot of you have sent in your answers to that, and I appreciate that. But we can use all the input and just go with your gut. What do you think would be the best way to get more and more people who don't now know about ElfQuest interested in it? So send an email to elfquest@elfquest.com with the subject line, "The Challenge for New Readers," or something like that. And give us your thought.
Something we hear very often when we're at conventions is a person will come up to us and say, "I've never read ElfQuest. I've heard of it. I've heard it's good, but I looked into it and it just seemed too overwhelming to get involved with. I didn't know where to start." So if someone said that to you, where would you start them?
Yes. And here we have a cutter now for Laura.
And a signed one.
And signed for Laura. And I'm going to use my hand because it's easier than picking things up. Okay, there's Laura. We have Lita and the Skywise, and here they are.
David's off camera. You wouldn't believe how busy he is over there.
Yes.
Actually, I got to take this hoodie off. I'm sweating now.
See, what goes on before any of this, before we go on camera and before we go live, is we need to look at all of your orders, and then we need to separate them all out by name and order. And then we have to put which items you have ordered into groups. And then David pulls them out in order, and we sign them, and then we hand them back. And while we're handing them back, as I'm doing right now, he's busy getting the next one out. So if we go too fast, he gets behind. If he goes too fast, we get behind. So it's a lot of fun. That's how I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
We've got a good flow.
Yeah, we do.
We had it all well sorted with the prints, and then we introduced the standees, which are packaged individually, and everything went out the window.
Yes, because the prints, we can just go into a box and say, all right, here's print number 1, here's print number Skywise, here's print number Cutter. And the standees come each wrapped in bubble wrap with sticky tape. They got to be taken out. They got to be put back in. This is for, again, no one. And I hope that's not somebody's real name.
We want to thank so many of you for showing up for this final Streamily event of the year, even though it's making a lot of work for us, you sweet little things out there.
Okay, so is this 374 or 5?
374. That's
All right, this is 375,
375.
and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
No name. And see, if we go too fast,
Mm-hmm.
and there are 2 orders, and they're the exact same order, then we go, wait, did we do this yet?
So Tanya says, every time a friend asks for a book recommendation, I always recommend the Complete ElfQuest Volume 1.
Aha.
Tanya, if you're there, and if the flow of business allows it, why do you recommend that particular book? I'd love to know. Just from your perspective as a reader and a pusher.
If I were going to hazard a guess, it's that's where the story begins.
Yes, but I'm asking for Tanya to hazard a guess. Lita and Skywise. For Liz.
Remind me to never sign up to unpack things in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
You're going to be dreaming about bubble wrap tonight.
Nightmares.
It's actually less the bubble wrap and more the packing tape,
Yes.
which is really hard to get off bubble wrap.
Yes. Do you have something to cut it with?
My muscles.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I have found that like if you could just, it's not really that stuck to it, but getting the edge is a real pain.
Yeah. Well, and it tends to tear, and that's what's happening, and then it gets all carked up.
Oh God, yes. And you got that cuss word from Future Quest, didn't you?
I absolutely 100% did, among many other words that I learned from reading ElfQuest. So.
Well, it just sounds naughty.
370.
There are a number of words that are unique to ElfQuest because we made them up. Puckernuts is one of them.
That's right. People like to use pucker nuts.
And in the future, things don't get messed up or
Effed
anything else up. They get carked up, K-A-R-K.
Mm-hmm.
And we made that word up, and we're proud of it.
Yeah, it's so good we use it.
Okay, Liz, here's your Skywise and your Lita, and I just knocked some notes off the desk, which I don't think I need. I hope I don't need.
As long as they were your notes and not my notes to keep myself in track here.
What do you think about turning on the little heater?
I'm fine.
Okay.
So I have to move it out of the way.
All right.
So you got your Skywise there. 377.
377 Skywise for none.
Richard faithfully checks every one of the standees to make sure it fits into its stand.
Because as good as the manufacturing is, I'm just that way. I have CDO.
CDO.
Yes, not OCD, CDO, because it's in alphabetical order the way it should be.
I'm not going to touch that.
Richard, I'm with you.
Okay, that's done. A Lita and a Skywise made out to Tam.
Tam.
What an interesting name.
Where did you come up with Tam as Cutter's? I know like Tam Lin is a Scottish.
Yes.
Is that where it came from? I've always wondered that.
Yes.
Oh, well, tell everybody about that.
It's a tribute to Tam Lin, which is one of the oldest fairy tale songs. The story of a human who gets swept away into the world of the Fae. And, Tam is a lovely one-syllable name that sort of sings. I just always loved it, so I gave it to Cutter as his soul name.
So it doesn't come from the hat.
No, it doesn't come from Tam O'Shanter. No.
What is that? I have no idea.
A Tam O'Shanter hat is, I believe it's I don't think it's Irish. I think it's Scottish.
It's
Scottish, okay.
It's got the little.
It's like almost like a beret, but it's got a little rim. And it's very often plaid.
There's a lot of ancient storytelling roots in ElfQuest. And Wendy's genius is to take those ingredients and to make an entirely new and different and delicious tasting stew out of the pieces.
I've told this story before in other interviews, but Cutter also has a relationship to Tom Thumb, because if you know this fairy tale of Tom Thumb, he was a very little warrior, a little knight who had great adventures in fairyland and in the human world. But his final battle was with a spider. So Cutter.
Cue the dramatic foreshadowing music.
Yes, Cutter was a little person in a great big world. He was a warrior, and he had adventures in Elfland and Humanland, and that final battle with the spider.
Okay. There's Lita. We have a Skywise now.
There are some prints that are upcoming, but so far, standees.
A lot of you guys want standees, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, but it's okay because someday our prints will come.
Oh, brother.
Somebody already said in the comments, acknowledging they referred to it as your dad jokes.
That's
lovingly, of course.
That's no.
No, you can't deny it.
No, they've taken the concept of the crystalline wordplay and reduced it to dad jokes.
You don't have a high opinion of yourself, do you?
All right, that was 380, right?
Yep.
Because now we have Cutter and Lita. And this is for Jamie.
And everything is fitting as it should.
Jamie. Wasn't the bionic woman named Jamie, but that
Jamie
was
Summers.
Jame.
I don't
Do you remember? I don't.
I just remember it was Jamie. Maybe somebody out there knows.
Somebody's going to Google right now. Jamie.
He corrected me. He said elf dad jokes.
Oh, elf dad jokes.
Okay, we'll give that a couple of extra points.
And then someone said, Rowan Gray said, well, I guess it's just a matter of opinion.
Oh, well.
So you see what you've begun, Richard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're picking up on all your elf dad jokes.
And do I regret that? Not even a little. Okay, so that's Jamie. Jamie has been. We have Lita and Skywise.
So I have a question. One of the things for me that is exciting about the new Stargazer's Hunt book that's coming out next week is some of the new characters that are introduced.
Oh, yes.
And I'm wondering if you can comment, maybe without spoilers, on what your thought process behind maybe some of those characters are, designs, and how the roles that they play in the story.
Well, I think one of our most important new characters, can I talk and write at the same time? We'll find out, is Goldruff, who is Cutter's second son and Sunstream's brother and Ember's brother. And coming up with him, his personality, his design, all of it, well, that was an extremely interesting challenge because I wanted him to for sure look like he was blood of Cutter, but at the same time, he couldn't be a duplicate of his father. He had to have his own vibe, his own personality, his own look, his own way of doing things. And he's very different from his dad in one respect. It's that he had a pretty happy childhood. He didn't have it anywhere near as rough as Cutter did.
Do I recall, and this is a weird way to ask the question because I was kind of there when Stargazer's Hunt was being done. He doesn't also want to be like his father. He doesn't want to be seen as like his father.
That's absolutely right. He doesn't have any hang-ups about living up to Cutter. He doesn't want to be a chief. He's seen Ember's job and he doesn't want it. And so
Cutter got compared from time to time to his father, Bear Claw.
Oh, for sure.
And he didn't particularly care for that.
No. I don't know too many people who like being held up to a more powerful parent as an example, and you have to live up to that. That's very hard.
And we have a Skywise and a Lita for Eric with a K.
There we go.
So obviously, if we ever do this again, I should not only put the bundles together, but I should take them out of the bubble wrap.
Yes, I think that would be a smart, wise idea.
Well, see, you and I can get out the wine and we can have a bubble wrap opening party.
And then do you think that any of these people are going to get what they ordered? Maybe the first few. Oh.
So here's an interesting question. from Luis Cabral. Others have drawn ElfQuest in the past and sold their original comic pages. I have a vague memory of Warp trying to get the scans, etc., of that other artwork. Am I correct about that?
Yes. A lot of that work was done years before we had anything resembling decent scanners. And for archival purposes, Eric, just so you know, there you are. For archival purposes, if nothing else, I would love to go back in time with the big scanner I've got now.
Yes.
And just scan every single page and every single piece of art that ever came through our office for the purposes that we might use those files today. I could put the word out, anybody out there in internet land, if you have any of the art that was done by, Brandon McKinney or Steve Blevins or anybody, scan it at 600 DPI and send me the file. I'm not going to do that simply because some of you would have some pages and you'd send me them, but most of that stuff has been scattered to the four winds.
Yes.
And it would be terrifically frustrating to only have parts, when sometimes we need entire stories or entire series worth of stuff. So I have high quality scans of all of Wendy's art because we kept it throughout all the years. But the rest of it, it doesn't make any sense to put the word out there as much as I'd love to be able to snap my fingers and have it happen. It's not going to happen. So we do the best we can. And thank you for asking.
20, 30 years ago, it wasn't on everybody's mind to hang on to original art by the artists drawing for a company as it is nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, just so much has changed that there's a whole lot of stuff that's just out in the wind and will never, we, Warp Graphics, Wendy and I, our company, our studio, our office, just will never have it again. So we roll with that punch.
Well, this is a nice segue to talk about our adventure last week at Columbia University.
Well, we'd love it if you talk about that.
Well, I'll talk about it on camera at another time, but
All right.
I would love for you guys to just maybe share a couple thoughts on what you all did last week.
Wow.
As you may or may not know, and we're also signing a Lita and a Skywise for Bart.
Bart Simpson?
Don't. We made the very conscious decision to donate Wendy's original ElfQuest artwork to the archive at Columbia University. And we did that for a couple of reasons, one of which was that we didn't want it in our office, because what happens if the office burns down or some other tragedy happens?
A flood or something.
You can insure artwork, but if the artwork is destroyed, not all the money in the world can bring it back. Also, since the entirety of the original Quest and Siege of Blue Mountain and Kings of the Broken Wheel and a lot of Hidden Years, and there's more to go, is safe at Columbia, safer than we could ever make it. People, students of comics, students of artwork will be able to look at that artwork and study it long after we're no longer in the picture.
And as proof of that, in the past couple of weeks, we were there to speak to a class of students that is studying graphic novels, because graphic novels have now been elevated to the topic of college courses. And Karen Green, the curator of the archive that is storing the ElfQuest art, brought out a lot of the art from the classic Quest and spread it out on a table so that the students could look at it and I could talk to them about how it was done. It was a lovely experience.
And just a few days ago, Wendy and I were down there with David, who is busy in the background here, and another helper of ours, Jonathan Woodward. David has seen a lot of the original art before. Jonathan had not, so we just went down there and for a couple of hours had to keep people from drooling because they were just that excited to see the original artwork. It's so beautiful. Here's Skywise's base for Wes.
And some video was taken that will be shared in one way, shape, or form on socials, or probably more likely via our email list. So Richard, why don't you tell folks again how to sign up for that?
Yes.
Can't wait to see that.
In fact, you won't see me in any of these videos because I was taking them.
You took them.
But there's probably close to 2 hours of just Karen, the curator, and Wendy and David and Jonathan talking about this or that page and so on. And we're going to, convert that into bite-sized pieces and make them available via the ElfQuest newsletters that our email newsletters. And again, you want to get on that boat, go to elfquest.com. There's a button right up front that says join the Holt. You click there, you give your email address in. It stays with us. We don't sell it and we don't give it to anybody else. And every so often, you get these wonderful jam-packed newsletters that nobody else gets, at least for a day or two or several.
Sometimes never.
And sometimes never. So you get stuff that is special to you. So we hope you join up.
All right. What are we doing now?
We are doing all three standees, and nobody is no names.
Well, that tends to go a little quicker. Get a little assembly line going here.
So speaking of which, we are at about 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's still quite a number of things left. So when you guys indicate if you're feeling like you're ready to wrap, and we can do the rest off camera.
Well, let's keep it going for a little. I think the last time we did this, it went to 2 hours, and we were, it was rigorous, but we were okay. And we know that people do like seeing and watching us go through our Lita and Skywise. Okay, again for none.
That's 390.
Okay.
So Amrade wants to know, how do you keep all the personalities of the characters that populate ElfQuest straight in your head?
Well, because we know them. The characters are very full blown, and you just kind of know what Shen Shen or Rayak or Sava or Two Edge or Winnowill. You just kind of know what their behavior is going to be, and it's pretty consistent. We do like to give our major characters big story arcs. They go through a lot of growth, but that doesn't mean that it changes who they essentially are.
Okay, now do we have a third? Because this one looks like it's 3.
Yes, this is we're on 391, right? Yeah, sorry, I just hadn't had him.
Okay.
Another question from Kav Richtig.
Interesting.
If I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, I apologies. What's the farthest you've traveled for a con or a signing?
Japan.
Yes and no.
What's farther than Japan?
Well, I wouldn't call it a convention in the traditional sense. See,
No, but we did sign some things.
we did sign some things, but this was a business symposium. We were invited to Japan in 1994 to represent independent comics in the USA, and we were very honored to have been chosen because of ElfQuest. The furthest for a convention or a signing, I'd have to get out a map, but it's going to either be Germany or France.
Brussels?
My geography, we've been to Belgium, we've been to France, we've been to Germany, we've been to Britain. So which of those, here's your homework, which of those is farthest from Poughkeepsie, New York?
But that was some of our happiest times, was the signings. For any of you overseas fans who are with us today, we had such a wonderful time meeting you all in Brussels and Marseille and Paris. And let's see, there was one other place in France, I think, that we did a signing.
Marseille, Paris.
Paris, Brussels.
I can't remember.
It's all a blur after a while, isn't it?
It sure does get to be a blur, but the fans don't. We have a tendency to both remember individual faces and names and people and what they said. So don't think that you don't make an impression on us when you meet us. Sometimes people will come up and say, "Hey, remember me? I met you in 1984." And I'll say, "Darling, no." But on the other hand, for some reason, there are some of you that just really stick in our minds.
All right, so here's another comment, which I'm going to ask, and I don't know if you're going to answer. Rowan Gray again says, very curious about future stories coming. Binge the archives and all the current print omnibus volumes. I see a lot of merging and weaving of old and new. Can you give us a tiny little teaser? The weaving of the old and new is what piqued my interest in asking this question.
Well,
once again, I will tell you, read Stargazer's Hunt and pay particular attention to Lita and Drayon. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Here's the thing. A lot of times people said, did you know the whole story of ElfQuest, or did you make it up as you went? We knew the foundation. We knew the basics of ElfQuest from the very beginning. And as proof of that, if you look in Final Quest and Stargazer's Hunt, there are things happening in those series that clues got put into Kings of the Broken Wheel and Siege of Blue Mountain 20 and 30 years ago.
And Searcher and the Sword.
Searcher and the Sword.
Yeah.
So Wendy particularly is devilishly devious about foreshadowing, just sneaking little stuff into the background that is going to have a part to play 5 years later, 10 years later, however much later.
Well, the reason I believe so much in foreshadowing is because I know the readers are smart enough to perceive it, even if it's just on a subliminal level. And so there's more of a payoff when that foreshadowing gets referenced again and fulfilled later on in the story.
But the best thing that we like is when a later story comes out and people say, I never realized that that one panel on page 16 of that story that came out in 1992 was talking about this in 2024.
Yeah.
But you got to know what you want to do. You can't just spin this thing out like, throwing dice to figure out characteristics or actions in a role-playing game. You have to know where you're going ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
You can take side trips all you want, but you still got to get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So Rowan responded to that answer to her question and said, Lita and Drayon, say no more. I'm opening my copies now.
Good for you.
Pia noted that Angoulême, I can't pronounce that word. Angoulême, I think was the other place in France.
Yes.
Angoulême.
Or is Angoulême a place, or is it a...
It is a place. It is a medieval town. It is marvelous.
It is where every, I think, January,
of all times of
year, they hold a huge comic graphic novel bande dessinée,
and it's
convention.
Cold and it's wet and it's sloshy and slushy, and we all love it. And the medieval walls are dripping wet, and we just loved it. We were inside castles, we were inside dungeons, and
these were the restaurants.
These were the restaurants.
No, we there was one restaurant. I think we went to it twice.
Completely underground.
It was completely underground. It was the cellar, and the ceilings were this high, and it was just stonework and tables and dim lighting and
and I had some ricotta and lemon raviolis that I will never forget till the end of my days.
All right, now you're making me hungry. So Derek Wagner has a question. Has digital comics has a positive or negative long-lasting impact on your lives?
Ooh, that's
a big question.
On our lives?
Yeah. I don't think it has had an impact on our lives.
Except to the good.
I think the more appropriate question is, has it had an impact on the availability of ElfQuest generally? And you see, availability is a very, very important thing to us both, because we always want more readers.
Digital enabled me to meet deadlines far better than working in traditional media.
Well, I'm not sure if we're talking about reading versus creating here.
I think it's both baked in the question. So yeah, both your answers are.
So your comment, yes, especially Control Z. Undo. You mess something up and it's easy. There is still a little bit of a debate as to what people like more, whether to hold something in their hands or to read it online, or their iPad or their iPhone. And all I can say to that is we want ElfQuest in whatever format gets it seen by more and more people. And to that end, we're still investigating how best to do that. That's why I talked about a few minutes ago this challenge of asking you readers, what would you feel would serve getting somebody new interested in ElfQuest? A book, a Kindle, a big fat heavy book, a series of comic books? These are important questions to us right now.
Because the comics industry is changing. post COVID, there's a lot of new thought about new directions to go.
Good question.
There we are. Yes, that was a great question.
Okay, and here are these.
All right. Well, you are getting a break from standees because we've got a few prints next.
Oh boy!
Alrighty.
Yay!
Two gorgeous pieces. You probably talked about these two particular pieces before, but let's talk about them again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing 3 standees for Kira.
Which, okay, so wait, hang on here. We'll get ourselves sorted. We might have had another order come in. So
That's
$398.
$398 is a 2-print bundle, which I'm looking at.
Right. And Kira was $397, which was the ones you just signed.
Okay, then they need the name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We do not want Kira on.
Sorry, I distracted you with questions.
No problem. There's room, and we can do it.
You're very good at that. Sneaking things in at the last minute.
That's how we met deadlines.
Yes. Speaking of deadlines.
Sneaking things in at the last minute. Okay, Kira, so you know, we got your name there. All right. Now we have a couple of prints. And these are for Kira as well.
Now this is called Light and Shadow, or
Desert Flame Lita and Forest Shadow Cutter.
Desert Flame and Forest Shadow.
What medium or media did you use on those, Wendy?
Watercolor. A little bit of Prismacolor pencil enhancement for texture, but mainly watercolor. And here is beautiful Lita.
Okay, I hope that there's not glare on that because I can't see. All right. Those are both for Kira, and those are done. We have a Lita for Krista.
And she is standing on her stand.
Krista.
Okay, that's this one.
Okay. And there is Krista.
You get another Lita.
And then another Lita.
$3.99 done. And we have Lita for no one.
We were talking about digital coloring earlier, and this Lita, I think, is a perfect example of how wonderful digital coloring can be.
It's very brilliant and lively and snappy.
But I can do all the subtle shading I want because of the different kind of brushes that are available to me in Photoshop.
So Natasha Vanilla has joined and says, "Oh wow, I am seeing the Pinis live for the first time ever."
Well, we hope you're not disappointed.
Is it live or is it Memorex? Are we AI? No.
Oh geez, don't go there.
No.
All right, we have a Skywise.
CJ Alexander, in response to Natasha, says, "Aren't they the best? I met them during the Fantasy with Fangs tour. Fantasy with Teeth, it actually was.
Yes.
And despite me being a blubbering idiot, they were so kind."
Oh, Fantasy with Fangs is good. Do we ever think of Fantasy with Fangs? That's pretty good.
No, because I don't want any possible confusion with
Dracula.
vampires.
Vampires, you're right.
No, Fantasy with Teeth is a really, really, I think, snappy kind of
got teeth
tagline that I suspect we will use again.
Except someone once said they thought it was about a dentist's convention.
You know what? Absent the imagery, maybe, but when you see those fanged characters,
Yes.
Wolf Riders, and
Cutter with those inside with those canines.
Yes, Cutter's canines are very prominent.
All right, so give me a second here to just make sure I'm on track here. We should be on 404.
404 is a Skywise and Alita for Lynn.
Okay. We are down to the last stack of standees,
Woo!
and then there's just a handful of prints.
So you're gonna.
I think
okay.
we can make it to 4, don't you?
No, I think we will get everybody.
Yeah, I think we're going to fit everybody in.
Very comfortably. See. I don't know if any of you have been to conventions where they have somebody who's on stage doing signings, and then you get somebody at the end of the line saying the line ends here because they have to cap it because they only have an hour. One of the advantages to doing things this way is that we can flex. Mm-hmm. Since we're in our office and not at a convention where there are 50,000 people crowding around. And we just want everybody to have a good time and feel like they got what they came for.
But we do love it when they have to cap one of our lines at a signing because that means so many people showed up.
Well, we don't ask those who got turned away how they feel about it.
Oh, I know. Geez, that's life.
All right, so Russ Coates has joined us, and he has a question after my own heart. Please, more rootless ones.
Uh-huh.
Can we get a grin, some tease?
Once again, read Stargazer's Hunt.
You want more rootless ones? We cannot compose new stories. We have to decompose them.
You have to decompose.
Oh my goodness.
You all asked for it.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
I certainly didn't.
They didn't know they did.
All right, moving right along.
We can talk about compost here.
April Landon says, "I made a fool of myself meeting Wendy and Richard. I cried. I think the air was utterly awkward, but the Pinis were absolutely wonderful."
Let us put put it to perspective. A lot of people who have come up to us have been very moved, emotional,
Mm-hmm.
And please do not feel embarrassed about that because really that tells us the depth of your involvement, your appreciation, your feeling, and there's no way we could be made uncomfortable by that. It's a way of saying that you love what we're doing.
Absolutely. Richard has just said it beautifully here. Don't imagine for 1 minute that, if we should meet and you get emotional, don't imagine for 1 minute that makes us uncomfortable. It doesn't.
Okay, this was a cutter with no name. So I just signed a cutter with the pen with no name. Now forget it.
It's nice to know that even you can be stymied in your wordplay.
Yeah.
Well, this is how you know he's like deteriorating.
No. I know I'm not perfect. I'm just closer to it than a lot of people.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. And you wonder where Skywise gets his attitude.
Kevin Lay just joined and says, "It's so nice to meet you two. Fell in love with your art and stories when I was young here in New Zealand."
Wow.
Oh.
Hobbit country.
Well, we're in love with New Zealand. I think most people in the world are.
We have not been there. I think it's one of those places we would like to go someday. I have been to Australia many, many, many years ago, and I suppose I could have just jumped over the water but was on a clock. Are these two done? Yes, they are.
They are.
So this is the Lita and Skywise. We have another Lita and Skywise, this time for Anita.
Anita.
All right.
There you go, Anita. If you can see this. Whoop.
You didn't see that.
You didn't see that, and I didn't break anything.
Okay. There's Anita all done.
Okay, next up is
Watching the Sun Rise.
Just make sure you put that sticker back on it.
Print. This is for Adele.
Adele says that ElfQuest was a big inspiration to her in the early 90s as a young artist. Well, you keep it up, Adele.
Okay.
Do you want me to let them upstairs?
No. That is Wolfie. He's one of our little Pomeranians, and I think it's because he sees a deer outside.
Yes.
Well, he was the inspiration for Filcher, was he not?
Wolfie is absolutely the inspiration for Filcher. Was one of Cutter's last wolves, and by far his funniest.
And there is a bit of woods and field outside the office door, and occasionally we do get deer walking by, and as you can hear, it's making him a little bit crazy.
It could also be a bunny or a skunk. What else do we have? We have possums. We have
snapping turtles.
Snapping turtles.
But I don't think he'd be going that crazy. We have a Skywise for Tracy.
That's my favorite kind of growl. The little
yes.
I don't know if people could hear it, but
And the thing is, the deer is probably 5 minutes gone. But all right, there's Tracy. I hope you can see that.
Right.
And that is for 10.
Now we've got a series of prints coming.
Excellent.
Okay, this is, okay, these just want signing.
Wolfie, cut it out now.
You're not impressing anyone. Just like Rayek.
Oh, they can hear him. People are saying.
Okay, this is the two cutter and leaf. Do you have the sticky for that? 411?
Yes, I do. Yep. I'm going to hand you, Richard. The next two are singles, so I'll leave the stickers on.
Excellent.
So,
Okay, so this is Tina.
There you are, Tina. If you're there.
Well, there you are. Proof positive. Okay, and we have a Winnowill.
You got to show that piece and talk a little bit about that. That's one of the newer print offerings. I think it's only been around for one or two of these signings.
Yes, I think you're right, David. Well, what can you say about Winnowill?
That won't cause her to turn you into a pile of mush.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll show everybody just in case. This is the print we're talking about.
I would say she's the vamp of all vamps.
Wow, that looks so good on camera.
It does.
Yeah, it does. And she's just looking at you like, yeah, come on, bring it.
I mean, here's a question. What would ElfQuest be without Winnowill?
A lot shorter.
I sure would. Without Winnowill, it would be without its shadow. She is the shadow. She is, every hero needs a shadow.
She's sort of the shadow for the series.
She's the I was just thinking, Rayek is kind of Cutter's shadow, but on a much smaller scale. But Winnowill is like the shadow of this whole series.
Of ElfQuest itself, yeah.
Yeah. She's a shadow hanging over all.
Yeah, especially now.
No kidding.
Well, Rowan Gray in response says, Winnowill has bad bee boss babe vibes. And you know what the B stands for.
Yes.
Yeah. Bay.
B. Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
That'd be boss babe vibes.
So 419.
Now, did I
Yes.
I just hand you Benjamin?
But we haven't signed Nightfall yet.
Yeah, you just handed me Nightfall.
I just handed.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, how did I miss that?
Poor Benjamin.
We were talking.
Okay.
And then next should be Skywise. Oh no.
Skywise Standee.
No, wait a second.
419.
All right, I have to refresh my screen because I'm still. Yes, 419. You're right.
And
Sometimes the screen doesn't quite refresh in real time.
For Krista.
I am such a fan of these standees. I just love them. They're the kind of thing I would have loved to have had when I was a kid.
And you can always, I'm sure Streamily.com has a customer feedback section, do they?
I'm sure they do. And the link is right there on the screen going across the ticker, streamily.com/ElfQuest.
So, if you like these and you want more characters, it's not like we don't have artwork that would make beautiful standees.
No kidding.
So
I think Two Edge would make a great standee.
I agree. All right. So next up, you have a print bundle of 2.
And Skywise, yes, we do.
Oh, there's the Skywise.
So for
print.
Kathy with a K. And Skywise.
Several prints coming in next in a row.
I seem to recall there was a bunch of them all at once. And so, Kathy, you can see, I hope. There you are.
Well, we can do that.
All right. There's that.
And this is a bundle.
2. This is Lita Cutter. This is one of the best duets ever.
Well, hold them up before you sign them so people can see.
Okay. Just so I'm going to go off a little bit, but
Yeah.
there they are.
Yeah.
And this is for Eric and James.
April Landon says ElfQuest merchandise has been pretty great. And I am particularly gratified to hear that because
Yes.
I feel like we are in a golden age of ElfQuest merch because people have asked for it. And this past year or two, a lot of really cool merch has come out.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Can you sort of rattle off a list of what has appeared?
I mean, so we have these incredible art prints and the standees from Streamily.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the really nifty laser cut items from our partner Lasermock, who has holiday ornaments, and they've got these really great 3-dimensional prints. They've got bookends. And our newest partner is Stans, who has done the ElfQuest Challenge Coin series, which you can subscribe to and get these awesome coins featuring moments from the story delivered right to your door.
Those are amazing.
So there's 3 singles right there, right in a row.
Yes.
And if you go to elfquest.com, everyone, you will get links to all of those things.
Yes, links and visuals.
And there are still the good old standbys. There are T-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And various things you can order to get images on.
Print on demand on our Redbubble shop, the official ElfQuest. That's also linked on the website. And let's not forget Dark Horse, who is the publisher of these gorgeous ElfQuest books.
Oh, yeah.
The new one of which is coming out. Why don't you guys, after you sign those 3, flash up the new book one more time for new people that have joined in the last hour and a half as we wind down here?
We will do it. You don't have to twist your arm.
Let's do this.
Because we are winding down. There's just a handful left. So
well,
right, so
we're winding down too.
This is Cutter for Erica.
we've got somebody on Facebook whose name doesn't show, unfortunately, on our back end here that says, I plan to get those 2 prints next as soon as I have wall space to put them up. I think it was the Cutter and Lita.
Ah.
Okay, so this is Erica. That's 423. There's that one. And we have a Nightfall.
424.
424, just to be signed. Yes, we want to show this beautiful book.
Yes.
One more time for people who have showed up since the last. And we have a Nightfall, just to be signed.
That's Moonshade.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, they do tend to have night-related names.
You know, moon, night, fall, shade.
There.
And there's those. And now we have a 3 standee potpourri. See? Yeah, we're going a bit on fumes here. Just signed.
You know what's nice is we know what the destinies of a number of these characters are, and yet at the same time, they are just as alive as ever.
I love thinking of it that way.
Yeah.
Well, what's Strongbow and Moonshade's refrain? Loving is forever, living is forever. I can't quite remember the exact phrase.
Oh no, that's Lita's song. The lyrics to Lita's song. Let me think for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, but they said something in the Dreamtime sequence that.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
something.
you're-
Oh, there was that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loving is forever, living is forever. Something like that. That Strongbow and Moonshade said to each other. But
Yes.
you're right. You put something in Lita's song.
Yes.
Well, that just shows the interconnectedness
Yes.
of the way of living and thinking that is ElfQuest.
And those words apply to Cutter and Skywise too.
Well,
Okay.
here's your segue while I get the last couple things.
Okay.
See, I was just thinking.
Once again,
Oh boy.
this is coming out the 21st into bookstores and the 22nd into comic shops. It is a beautiful hardcover edition of the Complete Stargazer's Hunt, and with a bunch of new stuff that did not appear in the comics or in the 2 softcover collected volumes. And it's just a spectacularly beautiful production. And that's all I could say about it. You go and look at a copy.
For those of you asking about digital coloring, I would say 95% of the coloring was done by Sunny Strait. Most of you know that name. Sunny has been my art assistant for a couple of decades and more now. And he did, by far, I think, his best work on Stargazer's Hunt.
We have now a couple of prints. We have a Red Lance and a Nightfall for Timber.
Timber.
Okay.
These are 2 singles. We've had a couple of orders come in while we were doing this, so I have to go pull those.
You know where they are. See,
Oh,
there's-
Lita's song. I just remembered it. Loving is always and living is always. Each fearless breath we take is worth the taking.
Yes, that's it.
And there's the Nightfall for Timber. Okay, so that goes there for 27.
Yeah, you got it on here. Okay. So now you have 2 individual prints queued
Got
up
it.
there.
We have now a moon. Wow.
Hmm?
Occasionally over the years, people have called her Moonshine.
Yes, they have.
And I just almost went there. So Jacob Moonshade.
Oops. That was Rita. Cutter.
There we are.
And there you are, Jacob. And we have a for Gru, spelled like the movie, not the Sergio Swordsman.
Despicable You, Gru.
And he said, I just want to thank you for decades of amazing stories.
Oh, well, thank
you.
you.
Just called him despicable.
Well, he knows that it's meant in the most affectionate way.
Okay. There's that. There you go. And apologies if the holding up so you can see goes by fast, because we can't see it. So we hope you can. And
You guys are getting it perfect on camera.
oh, thank you for that.
Well,
Okay, this is a Skywise and Lita make it out to nobody. I placed a separate order for Cutter. I hope somebody's keeping track of all that, because it ain't me. And this is same. Okay, that was a Cutter and not a Skywise and a Lita, which is 430.
So this is 431 as a bundle.
2 prints.
right now this one wants.
Yes, I'm doing that. All right, sorry, I went a little too high there. And this one's just signed.
There we go. If you ask us for a special message, we always try to accommodate you.
If we can fit it. Okay, this is, you have 431?
Yep.
Okay. And here's 431.
Okay.
Yeah, these must have come in under the wire.
Yeah.
These last few. But hey, the store's open. Why don't you get started on Lita? And it's going to be a Skywise next for this bundle.
No name.
You are a bear. You're not chilly down here, are you?
No, I'm sweating actually.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, Lita and Skywise. You don't need the paper underneath?
Nope.
Richard, you don't have a paper clip handy, do you?
There.
It's okay if you don't. I'm gonna.
If you go on the table, there's a little, all the way at the far end, see the little holder?
Oh yes. I didn't see
There
it.
you go. Okay, so this is a Lita and Skywise with no name.
And we are down to just sort of the last 5, 8 or so
Right,
things.
this was 431.
I think we can do that.
This is 430.
2.
This was 432. Wait, hang on. Don't click anything. This was Lita and Skywise
For no name.
for no name, and then that last one was 431. So this is 430. Give me a second here. We have the 430 for no name of Cutter and Skywise.
Do you have a question we can answer while you're doing that?
Well, I might need Richard's help here. Let me refresh my screen. My screen might not have refreshed.
I plan to get those 2 prints next as soon as I have wall space to put them up. That's the last comment I see on the.
Okay, so we're at 435.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So
I don't know what that 432 tag is.
432 was one that came in, and I think you already clicked it off.
I clicked it off, and it's the no name cutter. It's Lita and Skywise.
Yeah. So 430 and 432 are no names.
Okay.
They were a repeat of the back to
So
back.
435.
So
now
435 is a cutter and Skywise
for Raquel.
So here is, and these I have to do the numbering and all the stuff on it. So just bear with me. So this is regular.
Raquel. AQUEL.
Here we go. Okay, there's that.
Let's see if there's any other juicy comments.
Okay, that's 435 for Raquel, and there is Raquel. I hope you can see that.
For Natasha and CJ, we definitely did sign the print for Benjamin. I remember it coming through, so he should be all taken care of.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 435. Next is 437.
437, a Skywise and Lita with a little bit of instruction here. I can do that. All right. For Landon, DON. And Durfee.
Okay, there's that one.
DURFEE.
Durfee.
There's that.
All right, there's only like 4 things left to sign.
Wow.
I see 3.
Okay.
38, 39, and 41.
Durfee.
Yes, counting the one that you're finishing up right now. That would be the
Yes.
4th. So we're almost finished here, folks.
Yay!
So you got 2 prints to sign individual. And then there'll be 1 last standee, and then we'll call it a day.
Okay, so that's 438 to Robin and Miranda. For Robin and Miranda. And I'll sign down here. Oh, and there's another Robin and Miranda coming up after this. Whoa.
Woo. There
No,
goes
the heck with it.
Heck with it. You can get through this without it.
All right, so there's that.
Okay.
And here's this. Oh, it's a print. I don't need that. Okay, I'm going to put for Robin and Miranda up here. Robin and Miranda. Not the same here.
Yes. That's where we tend to do it.
Visible. And because we didn't show the other one, but I'll show this one. So we did it.
All right. And our last standee.
Hang on. I got to mark that complete. And this is the one we just did. And we have a Lita.
And this is the final item to sign. So thank you, everybody, for watching.
And thank you for your great questions and comments. All right, there we are.
So the Lita also is the final. So it's the Lita and the follower. And
any last words that you guys want to share before I close this out here?
One more shot of the Stargazer's Hunt.
Yes.
Go get it!
5 days, people. 5 days. Put in those orders. Let your favorite bookstore or comic shop know you want this book.
And if they don't have it, gripe at them until they do.
All right, I'm going to pop back on camera for one more second just to say thanks again, everybody, for watching. Wendy and Richard, you were troopers. That was 2 hours and 15 minutes that you were on camera doing this for everybody. So stay tuned for more news. Follow all of the ElfQuest social media. Go to elfquest.com and sign up for our mailing list so you can get exclusive content and all sorts of other goodies, including the latest breaking news before anybody else. So until next time, bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right, ending the stream.